Russia has admitted for the first time that last week's sinking of its flagship cruiser, the Moskva, left dozens missing and one dead, although it still denies Ukraine attacked the ship. On the battlefront, Ukrainian officials claim Russian troops are redeploying from the southern port city of Mariupol to reinforce their new onslaught in the east. In the meantime, Ukraine says it sent a nighttime helicopter to deliver arms to the last Ukrainian forces in Mariupol who are holed up inside a giant steel facility. Willem Marks begins our coverage.
In the city of Mariupol, ghostly remnants of a relentless war. This is what Russia calls liberation. Apartment blocks battered by shelling, devoid of residents. The only signs of life, pro-Russian rescue workers locating the dead. They load people's remains onto trucks marked with Z, a symbol of Vladimir Putin's brutal invasion. The dead's destination for now, unknown. Today, a Ukrainian regional governor still seemed optimistic about Mariupol's future.
I
unequivocally believe that Russians can be defeated. They are not taught to lose, but they overestimate themselves.
The last few Ukrainian fighters are bunkered down in a steel plant by the sea. Russian forces say they'll no longer try to storm that facility, but instead will besiege it. British officials say it's likely Russia prefers simply to surround it, to free up their forces for operations elsewhere. On social media channels, pro-Kremlin propagandists embedded with the Russian army publish videos they say show troops moving east, away from Mariupol. But military analysts say Russian forces in the city suffered substantially, and Moscow may struggle to redeploy rapidly to other battle fronts. One Russian commander talked of fresh territorial ambitions in the south of Ukraine, suggesting a new access route to Transnistria, a pro-Russian enclave in neighboring Moldova. It's unclear if these comments reflect official Kremlin policy. Back east, meanwhile, Russian troops continue their assault on the Donbass. Overnight, a hospital near Donetsk damaged under direct shell fire. In the city of Rubizhne, broken boulevards bear the scars of conflict. A cultural center crushed by artillery. In a basement beneath it, a dozen of the city's residents shelter together. Ludmila said she fled her home after the shells began to fall.
It was raining, the roof was leaking, the plaster and wallpaper fell off, a constant draft. It is impossible to live in our houses. No gas, no light, no water.
To the north, in Kharkiv, emergency workers on scene at a public market, smashed and torched. The city remains a top target for Russian rockets, leaving residents to deal with the daily damage. Yuri Gurupayev said 2 civilians charred to death inside this vehicle.
How is it different from Bucha or Hostomel? And we're told it's quiet here? How is it possible? Here are people burning. Here are 2 people burning. Look, bodies. How is it possible?
Despite the bombing, thousands of Ukrainians plan to return this weekend to celebrate Orthodox Easter. Like Maria Litok, who arrived today in Kiev from Poland to meet her family.
I am now confident that the world is aware that we are strong. It is important because just a few people knew about Ukraine. Now almost every person can show the city of Kharkiv on a map.
Home for the holidays, but for how long, unclear. Tonight, Anna, despite advances by Russian forces on multiple fronts in the south and east, in cities like Kiev, it's not so much about clearing up as pushing back against that military aggression. The national flag is still fluttering behind me, traffic has returned to the city centre, and with the evening curfew pushed back till late, restaurants and bars remain open for customers. But just an hour or two from where we're standing, awful scenes of devastation and destruction in many directions throughout surrounding towns and villages. Amna?
And the NewsHour's coverage of the war in Ukraine is supported in partnership with the Pulitzer Center.